Hello, everyone. So we're doing community project reviews for the startups. Hello, everyone who is in TikTok. We're doing it in live mode in our community. So you will see and hear the recording for that. One. Hierarchy. Nice to meet you. I will post the information to the general chat so everyone will see the announcement and join. Today we hit 100 people. So basically, they're all over the world, as I said to you previously. So we have like 20 or 25 countries. And all of them have either their companies or their projects or they're building something. So let's have fun and review the projects. Doing the community projects live. Connect. Okay, so let's start with that. Everyone will be joining, I think, in a couple of minutes. So yeah, for those who are watching this in the recording part in the community, so and for those who are in TikTok, because you're basically watching this from the site, you're not in the community right now. The link will be in the description. So basically, we are doing the community review for people with their companies, and we are speaking about their unit economy, business models with their markets. We're bringing the experts on the board. Personally, I have a decade of experience in IT. I'm now the private investor, and I'm doing these lives where I share my knowledge experience with people. And yeah, today we have Rocky. He's from Philippines, and he's a really great guy. So let's start then. Hi, Rocky. Could you please tell a couple of words from your side one more time about your project, what you're currently doing? Because previous time we spoke about your previous project, and what are you doing right now? Why are you shifting this to other fields? And let's understand what's your question upon the thing.
Okay, so I've been really just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and I've really been on this journey of wanting to build a product for a while now, a digital product. With no background in tech, really, I've been curious about what it means to be able to come up with something with a product, really, and it has always overlapped with uh, creating content. So in the
Mhm.
process of trying to build a product, I also discovered the dynamics behind content. It's everyone watches content and many make content also.
Mhm.
So I slowly learned I slowly understood the conversions efforts behind the content. So there were those two product building and content. So uh, actually coming up with content is actually what catalyzed interactions with people
Mhm.
who can actually help me build a product.
Yeah.
Because here in the Philippines, I have limited network in tech, right? And because
Mhm.
I had a portfolio of YouTube videos and I connected with people all over the world, I had
Yeah.
something to show,
Okay.
and it's like having a business card, basically. And that
Let's go to the specific question from your side, because I looked through the document you've showed me about the like unit economy, the general outlook about the project. So could you please walk through the specific things? So are we looking for one of the tools like reflection tool eventually from your digital product, or is it the patio like we spoke last time about? So is it what's actually we are reviewing right now,
what was that? The reflection tool or the
or the Paris? So basically the project which you are doing right now and offering it to the local suppliers and the specific like retail stores.
Okay, so first it was the reflection tool. Basically, I'll just give you a really brief walk through the reflection. The reflection tool is a spreadsheet MVP, right?
Hmm.
And basically, the user identifies the pain and then matches it with the user frame. It's a two-step spreadsheet, and it generates guide questions. For example, you're having problem with focus,
Hmm.
lack of focus, and you're always distracted. That's usually connected to decision making. It means there's something that you haven't decided on. So once you connect that, the pain and the user frame, it generates guide questions
Yeah.
related to that, right? And so I was that. And the idea behind that was really to just get on this loop of asking questions, of identifying the pain and asking questions. So
Hmm.
that's and reflecting on the questions really, because the questions can guide to the next phase of
Okay.
understanding what the problem really is, right? That was the reflection tool. And I actually ended up creating like over 100 videos trying to create a funnel for the reflection tool, and it was so frustrating. And eventually I had to just pause and stop and okay, like
Hmm.
maybe I need a better approach to it, right?
Okay.
So that was the reflection tool. That was one sheet, and then I eventually added a decision layer because eventually I realized that okay, reflection can just be an endless journey. You're just reflecting and reflecting, and I'm also maybe I can be guilty of reflecting,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I added a decision layer, and the decision layer basically helps by identifying constraints and making decisions. So now it's more active. There's a reflection layer, and then there's the decision layer. um, so it helps with becoming more aware that okay, if we really want to take action and we want progress, we really have to face reality by accepting constraints. And the thing with this is we can actually choose constraints, we can as part of the strategy. So I added that. And as I was building the product, I was realizing what was missing in my own processes actually. I was missing a decision layer in my own process, and I actually ended up coming up with a decision ledger for my own use.
Hmm.
And I selected constraints that I wanted to stick to for a period of time, and I started logging my decisions. And so it got me out of this loop of just deciding and then forgetting the decision because I had a record of my decisions.
Okay.
And so
But
now I felt
let's
more.
understand the thing. So basically, if we speaking about the reflection tool right now, so what's currently your goal with that? So I understand that point A is just having this tool, and you now recorded some videos for some period of time. You have some traction for that. So, what's the end goal here? So, are you wanting just, as we said previously, and we discussed it on previous calls, to reach it to the certain point where you have like a community, a group of people, you have the base, customer base, or you just want to completely shift it to different approach and different way of presenting this product, maybe combining it to like offline businesses or like retail locations or like business communities. So what's your plan here and what's your actually the question?
Ideally, had I succeeded with creating a funnel and actually getting users and getting feedback and having a data set to study and to base the evolution of the product from that feedback.
Hmm.
Ideally, if I succeeded in that, then it would have been that journey, more on that journey. But I decided to revisit my original goal. My original idea of the product was there's a user device, and now the reflection tool is actually the user device aspect.
Yeah.
And when there's a user device, the original idea was the person using it would progress through this levels of awareness that would eventually connect the user to like a platform,
Hmm.
and the platform was a trade platform. So now that there was a reflection, the user device, and there's a decision layer that can aid that, I added a trade sheet, like the idea of a trade sheet, where people who use the reflect now it's more geared towards entrepreneurs because the reflection tool can be used by anyone, even just professionals
Yeah.
who don't have entrepreneurial ambitions, for example. Now there's the user device, and the decision layer can add with that. Now there's a trade sheet, and I've always envisioned this. It's actually really quite an ambition. A trade platform with substantial trade volume going through the system. So now, and it's like, it was very abstract before, but now I realize, okay, now I have the reflection tool. Although I also envisioned other tools for personal development apart from just the reflection tool, right?
Yeah.
Bookkeeping, tracking, and this and that, even lifestyle tracking, right? But the reflection tool is enough for now. And then there's a trade sheet now, and I just started with something that's really within my capacity, which is a scalable burger patty. And I also
But how this product actually connects with like Burger Party? Is it just because you told that okay, this is the layer. So, and for me, I'm kind of confused because basically, if we speak about the specific like project or product as the reflection tool, you need to like specifically understand the focus for this specific product. So basically, as we said previously, and we discussed that, and I will repeat to TikTok audience for that. So when you create a product, you need to understand the general approach. So basically, what is the target audience for your product or your project, right? Who you are selling this to? What is the specific problem you are solving, and how you actually reach this audience. So basically, via ads, maybe like Google Meta, etc. It can be Reddit as well. You can reach them via content creation, and we spoke about that as well. So basically, creating videos and targeting the specific audience, or you can go like direct to them, maybe communities, maybe some networking sessions, etc. But in your case, we discussed that you need to go to strictly to them. And if we now add the layer, the point with the Paris, right? How this correlates with that? Because I'm still a little confused. Because from me, from my point of view, I see that you have this product, but at the same time, you're doing this second product on the side. Or are you just wanting to combine it eventually? Or it's just the first product is nice to have thing, which actually somehow will develop into something bigger, and the second is just for understanding and like solving your problems and your goals, fulfilling your goals like locally on the specific like short-term horizon. So how does it work in your case?
Yeah, actually, I'm guilty of behavioral drift, really, or behavioral regression. When you plan something, the original intention, and then you put in effort, and eventually, okay, I asked myself, okay, I came up with 100 videos, and I didn't even consider like just building a product and maybe considering an influencer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. That wasn't completely out of my budget. I just worked within what I could do, which was make content, right?
Mhm.
But if I could build a product and there would be like an option to work with an influencer, that's why there was a time that I made all the 100 videos private because I wanted to step away from the project, at least with the momentum of just creating content, and
Mhm.
just review my life. Okay, what have I been doing? Maybe where am I failing here, and what blind spots or what options am I not seeing, right?
Mhm.
Because I really wanted to create a product. And if there's a way to create a product without relying on my presence, it means I've succeeded in actually delivering value through a system, right?
Mhm.
Without relying on separate from my my personality, my who I am, right? And that was one of my struggles because my customers for the reflection tool are people that I know, and of course their intentions for buying was really more to support me, right?
Mhm.
And that's the difference now with my experience with the patties. It's more objective, right? It's a different kind of feedback, and it's faster too.
Okay.
So on the selling side, I'm experiencing this. So I am more on the modeling level of experience rather than just really generating revenue. I'm seeing it more on the modeling level of how the feedback process works. So if I could, yeah, I only came up with the thing with the reflection tool is I don't have a tech background, so I was skipping steps. Even
Mhm.
a data architect told me this, like you're skipping steps, and and I was trying to build the structure for the company at the same time and building a product at the same time. So it was really an overload.
It's not like the skipping these steps. It's more about understanding what exact problem you are solving. Because I understand again we spoke about that last time, and the problem is really clear. So basically, the problem with the decision making for the top tier like professionals and business owners. It's not like the solopreneurs or business owners with like 5 or 10 people. These are people with like 1,000 or 5,000 people at least, or maybe at least 100 people in their company, right? To understand.
No, I wouldn't. If it applies to them, great. I mean, the currently the setup with the reflection tool. I mean, everyone has problems with decision making, leadership clarity,
Mhm,
and sustainable consumption. It's more general in that sense. I'm in no position to advise someone who's already leading like a company, right?
mhm.
And even in this journey, like even discovering constraints and decision ledgers and all, although these are not exactly practiced in all, even some big companies, these are startup or founder tools also because we work as individuals, right? And sometimes the tendency is to get on a loop. And
Mhm.
so as I'm also learning in the process, I'm also realizing, okay, maybe I have limitations in some things, and also although I'm sure there are some things I can impart even with top professionals when it comes to personal development that they've maybe not have had the chance to explore in their life.
Mhm.
It is not in advising in making decisions, definitely. So for the reflection tool, really it's decision making with the first is really the first sheet was really identifying the pain,
Yes.
framing a properly, right? Because the tendency is to guess, to assume that we understand the problem. It's actually kind of like a self-coaching loop, right? You know, people tend to assume that this is my problem because the tendency is to compare ourselves with other people or to just, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah, I
avoid.
pretty much understand that. But basically, the main point I'm seeing here that I agree that yes, if this tool can be applied to all types of people, all types of audience, it's perfect. But still, with when you begin your journey as like the startup founder or maybe starting the business, you understand that you have limited resources, right? And you need to focus on the specific audience and the specific pain. So basically. I assuming that you're still on the first stage, like it's the well-known quotation like back to drawing board, right? So basically it's still understanding what is the specific audience with a specific need, because you understand that in the world right now we have like over supply of the goods and services, and um, if you position your product as the tool which can solve quite a lot of problems and wide range of problems. And I'm sure that it has because I saw this tool and you showed me that. But if you like a generic solution for this type of problems, you start competing with guys like top tier coaching programs or maybe some other tools which are maybe available in the market. And basically you need to this is what I said you previously. You need to like um, be quite specific with this product if you would like to continue doing that, because um, when we did like research and we spoke about that, there is still quite a lot of potential competitors which you have right now, and they are not direct competitors. These people who they can be either people or organizations or products like for example even some reflection tools like Calm. Of course it's like different thing because you meditate and you reflect, but they still have some tools inside the app and they already have like millions of customers worldwide, right? So you need to be really focused and specific with that, and this is what I would start with. And if you of course want to continue this thing, because we spoke about that previously and it's still maybe the point for growth for you right now, because basically understanding the specific target audience, maybe a little cohort of people who have the specific needs, and how this specific tool actually solve their problem. Because still understanding um, the pain of these people, and understand how you can solve with this tool is really important. Because in other case it's not about the technical skills, because afterwards you can go and build it like at the platform with like Claude Code or Google anti-gravity, etc. But eventually if you still skip the part with like market research and understanding what's the real problem is, and what's, and not even the real problem, but the second point, whether these people with this problem are ready to pay for this solution. Because basically they might understand that, hey, I need a problem, I have some things in my mind with a reflection, and as a solution they just go to ChatGPT
Yes.
and they just ask questions, and then maybe they do not see the point why they should pay for your product, even it's like the low ticket price, right? So you need to understand that, I think, in the first place, and it's applicable to any stage, any product which you start in IT or in retail. It doesn't matter, because the
Yeah.
process here is the same.
Yes. Actually, so I mentioned that I took a break from creating content. Actually, I haven't made content like a talking head content this entire year.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
for 3 months now.
Yes, but you created the long form content, and you need still to have the traffic as a short form content to drive it to long form, right? Have you
Long
done
form
that?
content, a long form content meaning for like YouTube.
So you told that, okay, you created the videos and you created like 10 to 15-minute videos for this project product channel, right?
Um, for TikTok, really, I for reflection tool, which is a
Yes.
TikTok channel, I really took a break. I started creating narratives with slides and at the most just voiceovers.
Hmm.
Um, and the reason, okay, now the reason behind that is I looked, I was inquiring, I made an inquiry, and with all the data that I've given AI with my usage and all, I asked one question, and what was one thing that was consistent across all the time that I've used AI and the tools and products I'm trying to build
Hmm.
and my content. And it really boiled down to judgment, better judgment, right?
Yeah.
So it's related to reflection, but judgment usually must have a basis, right? A reflection is just can be insightful and you can actually just forget about it, right? But judgment now puts it in a whole new paradigm because okay, you reflected on something. How can you improve your judgment? So now there has to be legibility. Like I mean, there has to be basis for judgment, meaning you have a comparison for how you were judging things in the past and how it's improving now. So, and this applies very much for entrepreneurs because you're building data about your expenses, your decisions, and all that.
Hmm.
And when you compare across time, now you have a basis for how you've improved when it comes to making decisions or your judgment, basically your judgment.
Yeah.
So it boils down to judgment. So now there's a this. That's why that's why taking a step back from just this momentum of trying to reach an outcome, convert, get people to try the reflection tool. Now it's really judgment. And so it's really now the process of, okay, there's the reflection, people reflect, they generate the questions, but what do they do about it? Now, as a product, how do I actually capture that action behind the reflection? Because that will pave the way for better judgment, right? So now
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and
becoming
I understand
more
that,
the
but
function,
still
function.
you have the, I think it's still the next step for that, because the first part, as it doesn't matter whether you have one product or another. So when you create some kind of product or MVP, in your case you now have the MVP, right? Because it's, let's call it like full working prototype. It doesn't matter whether it's like an Excel spreadsheet or it can be like MVP with a no code, etc. You have MVP, so you need to have a group of people who actually used it and are currently using it as on a constant basis to receive the feedback. And we come down to the part which we discussed earlier. So you need the specific audience who have the specific need and can use your tool to provide you the feedback. It can be your relatives or family, it can be the people you know, or it can be the just people from networking session like inch communities or networking communities, but they need to provide you the feedback and they need to tell it, hey, I will use it. Or for example, the guy should, or the girl, the woman can say you that, hey, I've been using this tool for like one year or 6 months, and here is my feedback about that. Do you have this type of feedback? Because basically, if not, I would highly recommend you not. Okay, but think about these things, but still focus on the distribution part.
Yeah, right now it's the distribution can come later. It's really just having a good test group
Yes.
for this. The right use cases, the right people to test this, who will really benefit from it, who need it, or people who maybe have more sophisticated thinking but can really give good critical feedback, right? And to really just have this good conversation feedback flow going is really the next step. But it's really on the judgment area now, because now you ask me why I jumped into a trade product, right? It's
Mhm.
because it's an applicable use case of, although there's a misaligned between the current format of the reflection tool, which is in English, and
Yeah.
the target for the patties, which are really vendors and they don't really speak English. The reflection tool is not exactly, will not be understandable. So there's a mismatch there, but it's still, for me, it was an experience, because I was wondering how I can provide frameworks or reflection frameworks, or even tools that can aid the judgment of people who are in this, maybe we can call it the flat economic loop, because their decisions are not empowered by tools or frameworks. And it I can attest to this, because over the last years of maybe half a decade, I've been building frameworks, right? And during the low parts of my days or my weeks, right, when I refer back to data, it's really very empowering
Mhm.
to, to at least to not act or make a good decision because of data. So just to have that, and
Yes.
it can really stretch someone's perspective on a longer timeline. And it's really that idea of having a snapshot, longer timeline, and then when that adds up, and then it can really
Yeah,
help with
yeah,
the
understood that. So basically, this can be the one of the risks because basically, probably this is not the target audience which actually think in this paradigm. Because when you test the product and you see that you have some like specific information, because the amount of if you do not receive any feedback, it's also the feedback. And
yeah.
basically, in your case, probably these guys are not thinking in those paradigms. So, for example, the guy has like 20 or 50 locations throughout the the city, and he's not thinking in terms how I can judge better or how can I just do the decisions better. He just thinking in terms of different maybe indicators, maybe KPIs, maybe some numbers, because he's not thinking in terms of how I can improve that or reflect upon thing. He just has like 10 to maybe 8 to 10 hour workday where he needs to decide upon what to do next and how to earn more inside his business. So maybe this is not the audience you would like to reach to, because in other cases we also spoke about that. The another and the first part is just to create a cohort of people, and one of the most like closest cohort with the problem and people who can use your tool are basically people who are under stress right now. So these are maybe the founders or solopreneurs or people who actually lost their job. For example, I know that, like, based on statistics, um, like 70,000 people were fired last month from major corporations in the US. I think the same amount is in the Europe as well. So basically, this is your target audience because these people are fired. They lost almost everything that just they are on the market waiting and looking for another job. They are distressed. Maybe they start thinking that maybe I'm not good enough. So what's happened? Where should I do next? How can I improve my judgment and decisions in order to be more productive? How can I shift my thinking in other direction? And maybe these guys are your target audience because this is the real problem they have right now, and they might consider your tool to solve their problems.
Yes, definitely they are under constraint right now. That's why they're stressed, right? They have very limited resources,
Yes.
whether it's time or money.
Yes, and
But
in
you,
this case, it's easier for you to gather this cohort. You just can outreach them via LinkedIn because you can easily filter them based on the, like, ex Google employee, ex Facebook employee, because it's a clear filter there. You can either reach them directly via emails because basically I know that there are openly, like, public data upon these guys who are fired from the companies. And actually, I don't remember, you can Google it. There is a specific website with these people, with the open data, with their LinkedIn emails, all the personal information, and their last working place. So you basically can grab all this information, you can grab all these emails, and you can just send them in bulk your offer. Just telling that, hey, I need guys who are experiencing the same which you are experiencing right now. Can we have a call? I can present you with some tool which might help you to judge better and understand how to shift your life for the better. And now you have the cohort, and now you have, like, even if, like, it can be 10 to 15 to 20 people, uh, you already have the feedback and you're already moving forward. It doesn't matter with whether you do this in this startup or in other spheres, it's the same. So basically the cost dev stage is the same in every part of the startups.
yes, that was actually part of my own learning curve is to identify the use cases. I had so many assumptions starting, like I mean, it's like the saying, "You're a hammer looking for a nail." You're just
Yes. So if you have quite a lot of assumptions, I would recommend you to just do this simple task. And this helped me in my companies when I just figured out what to do next, what can be the strategy. So first is just list them. It can be like 5, 10, 20 options. It doesn't matter how much you have. Then you need to prioritize them based on the different points. So first point is the what is the outcome, potential outcome for this specific way. It can be like, I don't know, this you will receive like the specific cohort, you will receive the specific like money as the initial revenue or investment, etc. Next, you need to compare it with the initial goal for this list. So what's your initial goal? Are you wanting just to get a cohort, or you just want to have the paying customers, or you just want to solve the problem? So you need to compare with that. The second column can be the amount of time you would need to reach this thing. So for example, if I need to create a cohort for the product or startup, and it will take me like 4 months to do this thing, and another like 2 months to gather this data, do the cold calls, do the intro calls with them, and then I will understand that after 5 or 6 months I will have like 10 to 15 people. This one thing. If I need to move another direction, it will take me like 1 year. It's another story. The third, so basically it correlates with the time and resources you need to spend on this specific way. And the third way is to rank it based on the like easiness to do. So it's like one out of from 1 to 10, or maybe 1 to 100, if you would like to just do hardcore scale. Um, so basically, understanding that I can do this, and it will like 2 out of 10, and it's super easy. For example, I can filter these guys on LinkedIn, I can write them directly, and probably with a 50% chance they will reply me. And then combining these two and three points, you receive eventually the winner, the solution which can actually be the fastest, the easiest, and will require the least amount of resources from your side to do to start in this project. Because if you go on another way, and you will, of course, you can pick other things like, I will do this, it's crucial. um, yes, but in other cases, it can take you so much time and resources to do that. And in most cases, when you start the project, you do not have these resources.
Yes, that's why it's also very tempting to pursue the trade product. But
Yes.
there really has to be the cognitive layer, because cognitive development has been a very major part of my life experience. I don't need to go into detail on that, but it has really been integral in my own development
Hmm.
from my past. And I consider myself, and many people who know me personally, consider my life story as a very rare case of having recovered from my history, from my past.
Hmm.
And so I've had a glimpse of what many people could be going through. Seeing myself maybe 10 years ago, just being able to develop this ability to articulate, to just even speak clearly, create a context, speak clearly, and then I really didn't have that capabilities for a long time. Of course, like I
Hmm.
had relationships, I could converse, I could talk about this and that, but to be able to really actually pick a subject and elaborate on it, and then
Hmm.
you know what I mean. That's something that I've really had to develop intentionally, to really build on my cognitive abilities, and that had to go with physical activities as well, brain health. That's really something that
Yeah, yeah, understood. So
I
perfect. In this case, you have the very specific product for very specific audience like you, because you basically build it for yourself. So now you can extrapolate that to potential similar people in the similar situations, because I guess that there are also people who went through like specific heart conditions, and they have either specific uh, difficulties in understanding and how to um, create the better decisions for themselves, for their work, for their life, for their business. They might have some difficulties in understanding how to focus in the specific direction, because now it's a huge problem, and it's the huge
oh
trend either in Europe and the US. So basically the lack of focus, we all have like so
yeah,
many information everywhere.
yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, sorry. Please go ahead.
No, that's all.
Actually, I want to give a bit of a background of where the reflection tool came from. I originally started with an interaction tracker, right? The idea was, let's say you would use the tracker and you would track your interactions over a given period, let's say 2 weeks, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I'd give you a piece of paper and you write down the names, and then each time you interact with that person, you just log, let's say, one interaction, right? And you can log it just one interaction per day per person, or if you want to go like extreme, you can log how many times you can interact with each person. That really made overwhelmed me, but I tried doing that. And the idea was to be aware of interactions, and then I came up with a diagnostic reflection tool. Basically, you're going to now diagnose your experience of interacting with this bunch of people, and how it really, it gives you a snapshot of your life. Okay, I track my interactions for X number of days or weeks, right? It gives you a snapshot of, okay, if I don't do anything, these are the same people, these are the same interactions for the rest of my life, basically. So how do you actually intentionally disrupt your life? And many people don't have the ability to just walk away from relationships, right?
Mhm.
And the dynamics that people are trapped in.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So basically, when you understand that you had the specific problem on your side, which you solved with a specific tool, you build the tool for yourself. Now you can find the similar people for that. Because, and the closest thing is to look through the list of people who are feeling the either the same situation as you, so they've been through this journey or similar journeys which you had because you have kind of unique experience and journey, right? Or people who are under stress due to their work life conditions, maybe personal life, etc. So, and that's why I told that the closest thing is to go and watch for people who may be just fired, or maybe just shift their career, or maybe they are on the way of understanding where what should I do next. Because in this case, your tool is super important for them. But still you need to educate them on somehow to how to use this thing, how to properly mm, understand the consequences of that, and it will take time. So that's why we spoke about the whole marketing strategy, the whole like position under the product. We spoke about that it could be a really great add-on to specific product, because it in other way it can either require um, some resources from your side to educate the person, because basically uh, it is fantastic tool, but at some point it's sometimes hard to understand how it can be used in general, right? And you still need to have like the specific amount of resources to acquire people to actually understand what it is.
Yes. Uh, yes, there's really that whole human development aspect. That's why I mentioned that the cognitive aspect is really very close to my life experience, to my heart, even especially being a parent. Like it's something that I know will be important in raising my kids as well, and also in the even with friendships with family. It really comes in very important in life now. But in my own learning gaps also, I may have had these all these like big ideas. I've tried business before and all, but my inabilities before created this learning gap of just really operating within simple constraints. Like even like a hot dog stand, for example.
Mhm.
I cannot say that I've successfully run a hot dog stand for 5 years, let's say, or 2 years, right? It's really just repetition of doing something over and over again.
Mhm.
I have similar experience, but not exactly with a simple entrepreneurial endeavor like a burger business or a hot dog stand,
So
right?
it
The
really
idea,
depends on actually what's the I'm still going to like the first step. So first step is understanding what you actually want in this product and what actually the specific outcome with numbers which you would like to achieve with this or that product. Doesn't matter, because basically if you do not have this clear vision, the as a consequence you will be unfocused, because you will just jump from one idea to another without understanding that I need to just do this or maybe that or that on the side. And after understanding that, you need to like decide for yourself that yes, this is really important and I will go for that. But there are quite a lot of, I would say, details which you need to consider as well.
oh, definitely. And you know, it's important to keep in mind that as I'm developing and progressing into this founder journey, right?
Mhm.
My life, my real life is also unfolding because of my improvement. There are also like things opening up. So the decision ledger that I've come up with has been very instrumental with just making less decisions and being more conscious with decisions. Basically, I've really consciously I've chosen some constraints, and basically every time I log a decision, it's already I need to indicate which constraint it's
Mhm.
aligned with. one of it is time horizon, meaning I won't optimize just for the quarter, right? That's one. So it's really just going
Yes,
through,
and
and it's really just like reducing possibilities now. It's and really simplifying. So um, I still want to get users for the reflection tool, really, and without with people who are actually. You're right. I really need to identify the proper use case for that. I was hoping also of like even with a cohort that of people
mhm.
that I know, since I have this experience to share. But there are also really other metrics that I'm curious about. So I do need to make some decisions when it comes to our revenue focus. I suppose is one clear decision that I need to make. One is I also make content, right? So that can be a source of income, and then for business can be separate. But yeah, I that's something
Yes,
I
I totally understand, and that's why I was asking these questions because basically this worked for my side and from my experience. The ideal situation is when all your like you described that you have one projects for like your not like personal life or maybe your hobby, one additional project as a content creation, additional project for like business, etc. And from my experience the best way is to have one project, but this project will cover all other spheres which you've described because basically as a result every decision you make in one project eventually will affect all these three spheres. You eventually create the leverage for decision when, for example, you just do one action and it produces three results in every spheres instead of doing three actions and have only one result in each sphere. You just move faster because
yes,
this is what I do in my endeavors and investment opportunities, and this is what I spoke to and tell business owners. So basically, the better decision you have, if you have the better decision, you can actually qualify them based on how many problems they solve at once. So, for example, if I see that this is the decision who at the same time meet my criteria based on revenues, investments, maybe other things, yes, that's cool. But if at the same time it will solve another three problems I have or might have in the business, this is even better decision than just having one decision which just solves one problem because it just saves your time. It's just more efficient for yourself because you do not split your energy in like different ways. Of course we all have little energy and I guess you have quite a lot of it and you are passionate about, but this is what I mean by focusing your efforts in one direction because when you understand that you can do this one action, you at the same time become extremely focused in one direction, understanding that all other spheres will be covered automatically with the same decisions you make in one in one place.
yes, yes. I couldn't agree more. I watched a podcast recently with Tim Ferriss, and it was a special episode, and he invited like Cal Newport and a few other authors,
Mhm.
and the whole topic was about how these authors simplify their lives
Okay.
basically, and that was really, I really resonated with that. And yeah, it's been a very progressive past 6 months, past 12 months, and past even 3 years, right? and
Mhm.
and now more than ever I can actually make this decision, whatever my core decision would be. It would actually have a longer timeline basis now. It's not just going to be a decision because I had a bad week, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
actually going
totally
to be a,
understand.
yeah. And I look forward to actually making that decision. One serious contender would be to go all in on my YouTube channel. which already has a very clear path. 1 year ago, I was making YouTube content, but without a clear. Now there's a pretty clear path, at least for the next 11, 12 months, 1 year, and
Mhm.
even just pursuing that already offers this path to just evolving further into that focus. And there are many ways to integrate tools and all that within that
You
journey.
still need to understand that this is what I told you some time ago, and I will repeat it one more time. Uh, you need to understand the final destination with the specific channels you have, because basically right now you can go on YouTube or you can go on Reddit. It's now very popular in the US, and most businesses use this channel to acquire customers and leads. Or you can use Instagram or TikTok, like lives, etc. And these are all tools like swords, which you can use for the specific uh, outcomes or maybe specific goals which you might have. Because basically, if you think and if you have the idea that you need to monetize the YouTube and start with doing that, you need to consider that you will spend like 2 years at least for that. YouTube now is quite different that it was like 2 or 3 or even maybe 6 months ago, because with the age of like AI content, there's a huge amount of videos which are coming out every day, and you're competing with them. You're not competing directly based on your like um, maybe information or like topics. You compete for the time, because basically the more content is coming on these platforms, the more distracted people are, and we are all limited in time in a day, right? So if the person like watches like AI generated videos, he doesn't watch your videos. That's just actually how it works. And basically, by understanding your final goal, if you would like to have this as the side project, which nice to have, this can be like grow organically with a YouTube. I also had uh, I don't know whether I told you or not, one of my channels, I actually played with YouTube like in 2014, 15, or maybe 16. And I created a couple of YouTube channels at that time. And the main idea was that I will take the popular lections or like study programs from the universities like Harvard, Oxford, Wharton, etc., and I will just translate them into the local language without doing anything else. I just translate it and post it on my local language on the channel. And pretty quickly, I received, I don't know how many, maybe 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers. And I received the offers from like Canadian TVs to just take these videos and post them on their programs, etc. I received some kind of the invitation to participate in some government programs. I don't remember. But the point is, at that time, I understood that it would be really hard to monetize, and it would be a really cool project just to have it. And as a result, I just stay post it on this that level which it was at that time. I somewhere had the accesses to that, and it still had like some organic views, but that's all. If you consider this as the business project, you need to understand and evaluate quite a lot of things, including the differences and changes in the landscape due to AI, including the like economic changes, sometimes geopolitics as well. So quite a lot of things. So you just need to understand what you want on your own from actually these projects. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just for the community, I mean, I've prepared the document there. This journey has really allowed for more flexible thinking. Just having this way of building the runway, being more conscious with day-to-day expenses,
Mhm.
having dashboards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Yes, if we speak
all
about
this.
day-to-day expenses, I would recommend you um, to try to focus on the either marketing, the specific marketing part for this specific product. So you try to monetize it as quickly as possible with the traffic channels you have, and we discussed about that. Or if you see that this is hard and it will require like 12 months or 6 months to do that, I would recommend you to shift on the project which might have the fastest like money back, or not money back, but actually fastest way to earning the revenue, and at the same time doing this on the organic part, which you, I assume, doing right now. Because in other case, you just can wait for some time, and as a result, you might be disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you have any other questions. We have like 5 minutes more.
Um, Oh, questions. Well, in the community now, that I've seen there are people who have experience in IT and tech.
Hmm.
Well, I have the reflection tool. I've failed in many ways, but it's still there. There's content. I'm open to collaborate if there's any input on how we can put this to the next level. Definitely, I'll be open.
We right
I
now
do have like
actually
a
doing. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
yeah. Sorry, I do have a structure for the company, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like an equity structure, and I'm more moderate now
yeah.
when it comes to accepting reality and all that. I suppose many founders go through that
Hmm.
stage, but yeah, I'm open to collaborate with the reflection tool. It's actually a bundle, you know. I mean, depending on the market, it can easily be spun into like a bundle with a personal
Hmm.
bookkeeping tracker, even a lifestyle tracker, and all that.
We
Yeah.
actually can do this in several ways, because you see that there are a lot of people in the community, and probably you read about the introduction of from these people, because we have quite a lot of like people from Europe, India, Canada, US. So first, it can be just posting about you in general chat. So just telling that, hey, I'm doing this. Everyone can do that. So it's, we are not forbid that, because this is the point of the community to network. The second part is the very interesting format which we are now developing and thinking about, is basically it is called the community startup. We're still thinking how we can do this in a proper way to show the process, because we see that. So basically, the whole concept is to create this startup based on some idea and show it on the big stage how it can be done with market research, unit economy, understanding proper structure, coding it, uh, connecting Stripe, building the first audience, and show it in live in the real time, and understanding that yes, this can be achievable and you can do this too, and showing to the members of the community. And the main point is that we see a lot of people who are struggling with understanding how to do this right, how to write, how to properly understand that you have the same or the specific idea which should be worked at, and it is worth your time and worth your efforts, and worth like raising investments further for this project, right? We also see that there are huge problems with understanding how to do this on a technical side, as you described. So basically, if you see that not many members of the community are technical people, but at the same time they are eager to learn about that, and this is what we do as well, and we will be doing this. So basically, with current technologies and tools, you do not need to be a technical person, because basically having the tools like Cloud Code or OpenClaw or like anti-gravity or just GenSpark, you can create pretty decent SaaS projects, or maybe IT projects in general. The next point is just to market them, and this is where like, so to create the project is like 15% of the success. The next 85% is just to market and understand who are you selling to, what is their real problem, how to structure that, what is the price structure, how you can scale it, how you can automate everything. And this is what we actually try to do right now. So we can think in terms of the maybe community startup if you're open to that. I don't know whether it can be this idea or different, because I see that um, this can be shown as the case study for specific like niche or maybe specific geography or specific location where you can just see the whole process on the backstage, and at the same time you do some parts of the work as well, because it's like it's not just telling that sitting that hey we are coding this part and doing this or that. It's a pretty consistent thing. So yeah, maybe you will be interested in that. So we will see. I will update you upon the like specific schedule or maybe specific formats, because the team is still figuring out that, because we see that as a valuable thing to show how to do this, because more and more people just start thinking and trying to start their projects and they do not know how to do this properly.
Yeah, I can imagine with yeah. I mean, because the same reason that you're competing with everyone on YouTube, now you're also competing with everyone who wants to build something with the AI. It's the same.
You
It's
are not only competing with those who are built with AI. You compete based AI. It's like in this case, AI is the second and third in the priority list. You competing with people, and you competing on the price, and you competing with the technology change. You're competing with the marketing change, because basically right now, for example, one of the cases and one of the partners we are now and we see this a huge trend is like AI avatars, right? So basically with the proper automation you can create like 500 videos per month with the cost of like fraction of what you could do like some time ago. And with these AI avatars, you can actually change the look of these people, or like uh, men or women. You can change the background for them. You can add any specific products which they can actually promote or speak about. You can change any language they speak. So basically, you are in this case you are now start competing with a huge engine if you do this right. And in this case, it becomes more easier to promote any of your project if you have the specific system for that. And now you need only a couple of things. So first, understand the real problem, and second, understand how your product solve that, because everything else is already figured out. You just create it with a Cloud Code or any other AI. You have the platform, then you go to other automation and you create the like enormous amount of content for that, and you get the traffic, and that's all. Not all general, there are a lot of details still in this, but this is the situation we have right now. So the main idea is to just understand clearly what you actually want to create and how you can create it in general way. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe if you have don't have any more questions, we will wrap this episode. For those guys who are watching this on recording in the community, and for those guys who are watching it on TikTok, we have quite a lot of likes here right now. So basically, this is how we do the community reviews projects. And if you are interested, go to our community. The link will be in the description. And people who are watching it in the recording, it will be available in the specific post. You can ask the questions in the comments below this post. And if you would like to be reviewed as well, I highly recommend you to go on the specific post to understand how you can just prepare your project for that, the list of questions, and which exact questions you have, because we can actually bring people from marketing side, finance side, etc. Actually, yesterday we also did the review. If you, I don't know whether Rocky you watched it or not. We reviewed the one of the companies, and we brought Dmitry, who is actually the marketing expert in the community, and he actually described the whole funnel of the company, answering the questions of how to properly target your product or service, how to structure the offer, how to do everything. So we can do that as well. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So in this case, we will wrap up our call for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me in the community or like directly, and we'll be in touch. And have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.